Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's another edition of Policy Talk. We talking policy, man. This number 4. We talking policy. I got policies. We all got policies, you know. And if you don't know, if you ain't been watching my policy talks, I'm gonna remind you of my policies. No free promo. Look, that's why I put them stickers in the back. I had the stickers in the back because I didn't even know I was giving up accidental free promo. Who was getting the free promo? You'll have to look at the former episodes of the policy talks 1 through 3 to see how I was inadvertently giving it up. But no free promo. Of course, there's an exception to that if we doing cross promo. You know what I'm saying? I was on the brother to hear more. I was zooming with the homies with to hear more earlier. Shouts out to him. See, that was cross promotional. You know what I mean? He allowed me on and I could shout him out because of that. You know, I did leave after a while. His comments was killing me, man. The comments in his chat room, all they want to do is roast your ass. And cats don't really know how to roast, man. They just tell you who you look like, and they don't even make up new characters to look like. I can only be game, but I can only be the game. But so many times they can only be killing me with Life Jennings. Who else did they kill me with? The game, Life Jennings. They kept calling me Tony Baker, which is really fucked up because Tony Baker is like my brother, man. Just like one of my brothers who I've known for a very long time. I've known Tony Baker since before y'all knew Tony Baker. And that to say that I'm like looking like him, I was me first. So that's a mind fuck for sure. You know what I mean? But I guess we all favor each other. Who else did they hit me with? Which is actually I ain't even gonna do no more names because that's free promo, and I don't do free promo. I don't entertain hypothetical scenarios. All right. I don't entertain unless, of course, the exception to that rule is unless, I'm talking about what could be. If we creating possibilities and we making the world happen that we want to see, then yes, hypothetically, we can entertain what is not actual if we trying to make it an actuality. But as soon as you say, what if, I'm out of there, man. I'm not entertaining no hypothetical scenarios, and I don't talk numbers. I was on the live with my brother, and somebody, the question was like, how tall are you? I was like, I don't talk numbers. I don't talk no numbers, taller than you for sure. That's, I answer numbers questions with letters, unless, of course, the exception to the rule is if we doing business with each other, or if the number is a date, times and dates. I might do a time and a date, and then I'll do ballpark. I'll give you ballpark numbers, vague shit. Unless we in business, then I more than talk numbers. I'll show you some numbers, and then we back to hypothetically trying to create the numbers that we want to see in the world instead of the numbers that be in the world. But I don't talk numbers. I don't entertain hypothetical scenarios, and I'm not doing no free promo at all whatsoever. Okay. But I got a guest coming through. He gonna share his policies. He gonna share his policies with me. That's a couple of his policies. If you got some policies, throw your rules down in the chat. That's very welcome. You very welcome to do so. Over the Christmas, I think on Christmas Day, I think we went live with with my brother Corday and my pal Lauren Farmer, Corday Snell and Lauren Farmer. We was going over the sequels, movie sequels that was kind of more lit than the original movie. We was talking about Die Hard. We was talking about Home Alone. We was talking about Ghostbusters. A lot of movies. Check that out. I also gave some advice to a fellow comedian who was trying to get some advice for being new in the game. And I don't give advice unless you got specific advice that applies to me specifically. If you got a specific scenario, because advice is hypothetical, you know what I mean? And I can't really, and then also it's also an investment to be given advice. Like, are you going to follow this advice? You know what I'm saying? Now I got to keep up to see if you did what I said because you asked me what to do. And I'm like, man, you didn't even do it. So now I done spent the mental energy telling you what you could and should be doing. And I don't really don't like to entertain what you need to do as individuals. You know what I'm saying? You know, what you need to do is something that I ain't never did. What you got to do, and what you need to do as individuals, typed individuals, ass niggas. Look, I said all that just to not say the one. People need to pay for professionals' advice, expertise, or years of experience. Why you say that? Because as soon as you said that, here come the Forex, here come the foreign exchange demons. Here you go. Now they get the consulting fee. But I feel you though. Yeah, people need to pay for some professional advice, expertise, or years of experience. And it's like, fam, yeah, you want chapter 20 advice, and you on chapter 1. I gotta go back in my book. What did I do in chapter 1? And does that even apply? What I did don't even apply to you today. You can't even take that advice with you. That's advice for me, giving me myself if I was in your position. And then we back to hypotheticals, and I don't entertain hypotheticals, you know. But yeah, people need to, you know what I'm saying? They don't want to read the book. They want the free cliff note. They want the free cliff notes. Damn. You know, they don't want to buy the book. They don't want to read the book. They want the free cliff note. They don't even want to pay for the cliff notes. Damn. Or write their own book. They ain't gonna put no pen to paper. But I'm not gonna get into too much shaming, because then even me speculating what the reasons why they want. Sometimes people just think they just supposed to be asking first, you know, because that's what somebody else told them to do, and that's kind of like a formula to success. Is ask those in positions you want to be in their advice to how you can get there. But as you know, how is too instructional. How is too instructional, you know, like how. I can't tell you how. That's like step by steps. You want the steps. And it's like, won't you? And even how I did it is not necessarily to say that if you follow these steps, is you going to produce these exact results. So even how I did a particular thing, it's not a recipe cookbook. It ain't a cookbook. Cookbook, you get the recipe, you follow the instructions of the recipe, you eating delicious, you know. But life, you know, don't really work out like a recipe like that, you know. That's a good point. I'm glad you pointed that out. But put your policies, your life rules in the chat. Okay, man, it's some folks coming through here. Tammy T, shouts out. Yeah, all of y'all, man. Tammy T, man. Nigga, my guest is up in here. I'm about to invite him right now. Brother Will up in here. So yeah, am I coming to the Bay for New Year's Eve? I have no plans to hit the Bay. All right, my brother, hold on. Before you need to wipe that lens on your
Oh,
camera,
my
my
fault,
brother,
my
my
fault,
brother.
my fault, my
No, you
fault, my
good, you
fault. Give me a
good. So
second. I appreciate
he
it.
got he
Thanks for
put
looking
some
out.
lotion. His phone needs some lotion on that screen, man. And then can you go from another position so that light
Yeah,
ain't behind you?
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
no,
so
you good.
sorry.
You good. We just,
Me
you know what I
cool.
mean? I want you to be in the best light. I want you
I
to be in the best
appreciate you.
light.
How's that?
Fine.
How's that?
It's
How's that?
perfect. Perfect.
Perfect.
Perfect. You got a lot
Beautiful.
of hats in the background. I'm
Yeah.
not going to shout the house out because I don't do free promo, but you know, you
I ain't
you
mad
do
at you,
it.
bro.
No, I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. You know, you ain't got to follow my policies. You know what I mean? I've been hammering my own policies down. I think it's only been since November. You
Okay.
know, it's only been since November have I really been hammering my policies down. No free promo, no hypothetical. I don't entertain hypothetical scenarios. I don't talk numbers, but that's just me. Yeah, I got some secret other policies too. You know, we sometimes once you start making rules, you like, man, these are boundaries.
No,
Yeah, and
facts,
you like,
facts,
I got a
facts,
lot of boundaries, man. It's a big compound over here. We
facts.
got a lot of points of entry into. Yeah, we gotta secure those. We gotta throw up a fence right here. And what are my secret policies? Boomerangs only. I don't give reasoning. If you ask me why, I'm
Mm.
not telling you
Mm.
why. You don't need to
Because I
know
said
why.
so.
If I tell you something, well, I don't do the I said so rhetoric either, because that's parental. And then even then, our parental and our guardian figures
Hmm.
usually gave us that reasoning of I'm in this position, so I
Hmm.
could say, but we needed actual reasoning, because the reasoning is what helps us, the logic. But
Absolutely.
if it pertains to me and how I'm moving, you really don't even need the reasoning more than you need the realization. You need the
Absolutely.
actuality more than you need how this actuality came to be and how it helps me. So if I drop my policy and you say why, hey, you're not gonna do free promo, why? It's because I've decided not to do free
Yeah,
promo. You know what
absolutely.
I'm saying? And that's the reason that it will help you best. That's the most reason is I'll provide is because I decided. Not because I
Absolutely.
said so,
No,
because
I
that's like
got
a
you.
little dismissive.
I
I'll,
got you.
I'll let you in and say because I've decided, and they say, why did you decide that? And then I'll come back again like because I'm a decider who
Well,
decides and sticks to
that's a
his
very
decision.
diplomatic approach to you though, too. You know what I'm saying? That's a very diplomatic approach. You
And
probably piss less people off with that too.
well, I don't piss them off, but they might leave a little angst. But it's like, but as long as you understand the what more than the
Yeah,
why, because the what is more important, than the why. And so, yeah, I don't provide a lot of reasoning, so I don't really get in with the why questions. But that's my policies, man. That's just what I got going on. Will, first of all, let me get you to introduce yourself to that as best as what I'm saying, without giving up too
yeah.
much, but give away something, you know what I mean? So let the folks know how they can tap in with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I appreciate the blessing for coming on today with you, first and foremost.
Man, I appreciate you
I know
joining.
this, absolutely. But I'm a videographer.
Okay.
I live out here in LA by way of the Bay Area, California.
Okay. You like your
Uh,
brother. You like
yes,
your brother
sir.
on here. Yes, sir. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, yeah. But man, we started talking about life policies earlier, man, and well, actually a few days ago. And one thing that really struck out that I really wanted to tell you that I was like, afterwards was know who you are at that time. And what I mean by that is a lot of people do things that are outside of themselves. And I say at that time because we could all grow and learn and change, right? But if it's not you at that moment, you need to understand that's not me at that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, I have a preference of videos
Okay.
that I like to shoot and don't like to shoot, right? That may change
Right.
at some point, but right now, I don't like to do that. So if I'm gonna take on a client that's gonna ask me to shoot a video, I know, right? Like, I'm not gonna really want to do this, right? It's not
Yeah.
gonna be good for me. It's not gonna be good for the client. It's gonna seem like work. I'm gonna be like, man, I'm gonna have to edit this and put in, a lot of work that I really don't want to do at that time. You know what
And
I'm saying?
it's hard to, it's not, well, not hard. It takes a lot of energy to identify and even more energy to create a lane, what they call a
Absolutely.
lane. And so then when you get calls and requests to venture outside of the lane that you've created or identified, the lane that you want to ride in, it can be a bit aggravating at worst,
Absolutely.
irritating at best. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
so I respect
But
that.
no, I just think, things change, right? There's a lot of times that things that I didn't like 5, 6 years ago, whatever, I don't mind now, right? And there's things that, I like now that I didn't mind and vice versa. So I just say that, know who you are right now, right? Right now, who are you? Know yourself, as they say,
Okay.
right? But I feel like that's too broad. So I got to add that right now
Yeah,
component to
you
it.
you didn't add, that wasn't one of the policies that you had
Nah,
brought to me.
I
No, but
didn't.
I appreciate you bringing that to the forefront, because a lot of times, especially in a creative space, a lot of folks feel like they need to do whatever to
Yeah.
advance. They need to do whatever, more than more than a lot of stuff is reactive. The business and
100%.
the industry is reactive, but a lot of times
100%.
we in creativity. So creativity is creative.
Yeah, it's an
you, you
art, right? It's an
so
art.
it's art. So there's no everything that existed is could be a blueprint, or it could
Mhm.
be uh just something that's just on the terrain that you could just look out for while you creating your thing. You know what I'm saying? If
Exactly.
it's mountains and lakes and trees, it don't mean that you need to make you know, needing to replicate these mountains and these trees. You might
Exactly.
want to come through. You might want to come through with with a different landscape. You might want to come
100%.
through with a desert.
Yeah.
You want to come through. You know, you might just
Exactly.
all water over here. There ain't nothing but ocean over here. You know, it's
Exactly. Nah, exactly. Exactly, man. So, but yeah, that's one thing that, like I said, and I've just learned, man, it just works out better because once you know yourself, man, things become less stressful that way, right? You
well.
you,
See,
you don't start getting caught
this
up
is
in
the
the
trick. This is the trick about knowing yourself. This is and knowing anything. You know what I'm saying? This is the trick about knowing anything. Because change is the only constant that we experience. So as soon as you catch a
100%.
snapshot, it's only a snapshot.
That's
It's
true.
only a
That's
snapshot.
true.
And
That's
then
very
yeah,
true.
so as soon as you snap that shot, it's not the same picture. You
No,
know,
at all.
it's not the same, you know, you just caught that moment and it's like as soon as you identify a thing, it either changes or it dominates. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah, yeah,
it and so more about less about knowing yourself and learning, you know what I'm saying, learning your self
exactly.
patterns. And then
Exactly.
you can identify a lot with regard to how you are in circumstances and situations. And so sometimes you know yourself, but you don't know yourself on the map in different
Yeah,
terrains. You've been in this
yeah,
terrain, you've been in this
yeah,
terrain, and so you know yourself in this terrain until you get over here. And then you was in the forest, and
yeah,
now you in the desert,
yeah,
and it's like
yeah.
shit different over here. I'm different over here. I'm not the
Well,
same
and
over
speaking
here.
and speaking of changing terrains, man, another life policy, and this was the first one that I actually brought to you, man,
Yeah.
and
Oh
I
wait,
really
it's
stand
the
heartily to this.
hold on. Let me see if it's the not complaining about the
Yeah,
situations that you can change.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Right. If you don't like your situation, then change it. You know what I'm saying? Or at least make steps to change it.
Or at
You
least
know what I
not
mean?
complain about it. I think is what
Or at least
you had
not
hammered.
complain about it. Well, it's not even not complain about it, right? It's one thing I give myself, this is personally, I give myself the 5 minute or 5 day rule, right?
Okay.
I give myself 5 minutes or 5 days to just get it off of my chest, right? That gives me my time to think about it, to process it. You talk it out, you know what I'm saying? But after that, it's time to start doing something about it. Sitting there just complaining all the time about something that you may or may not, right? And that comes with an acceptance, right? Have the power to change. To me, it's more hardship than it's worth. You know what I'm saying? You better off trying to go and work to change your situation and experience that hardship than you are just sitting complaining about the situation that you in and experience that hardship. And that's just my preference. You know what I'm
Now,
saying?
can you recall how this policy came to enter into your life as something that you identify as something that you, as a boundary? You say, I'm not doing that. I'm not, you know, like when did you begin or how did you begin to implement this not complaining, this 5 day, 5 week, or 5 minute philosophy approach to your life? Not to ask you
I'm gonna be
why or how,
Yeah,
but
no, no, no. It's good. It's all good. It's all
I'm
good.
trying
It's
to
all
capture
good.
the
No,
journey.
really, bro. I grew up in the hood, man, and dealing with a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? You get the realization that a lot of people that are in this situation, man, you in this situation because you want to be in this situation, right? Whatever the situation may be, it could be as broad or specific as people may want. So I'm not going to attribute nothing specifically to it. I just learned there was a lot of people around me that would complain about things that they had the ability and the power to solve, or at least could make strides to attempt to solve,
Hmm.
right? But a lot of times people would sit on their hands and just keep talking and complaining, and as they say, talk is cheap. You know what I'm saying? And after a while, I started looking at people differently, not in the sense of judgment, but in the sense of realization that there's people that I was fortunate to meet that they didn't like something and they did something about it. And I saw what happened when they did something about it, right? And then there was people that I knew that they didn't do something about it. And I just looked at like the differences between how those people's lives ended up. And for me, I learned that the people that didn't like something and did something about it were typically the people that were more successful in any endeavor that they accomplished, right? Life is hard. And the people that didn't were the people that were kind of not really going anywhere, right? So for me, it just
Hmm.
became a realization of like, I want to be like these people. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be like the people that are just sitting here talking about this sucks. And
Right.
if only we could do this, and if only we could do that, you know what I mean? And talking about all the possibilities that they can do, but you never do anything. You know what I'm saying? It just kind of, you just kind of realize they sit stagnant, and the people that really make things happen, they take their situation and they change it, and that could be whatever situation you want it to be, man. So that's how that really came upon me.
Okay, so that's how that came about. Now, ever since you identified that as a thing that you offer that, ever since
Hmm.
you made that decision to implement that as something in your life as a rule,
Hmm.
um, tell me about the adventure in that. Well, first, tell me how the external world responded. You know what I'm saying? Where as because sometimes as soon as we identify something, as soon as we make a declaration,
Yeah,
here come the
the
external.
naysayers.
Here they
Yeah,
come. No, they don't even
yeah,
try to. They don't even know enough to say nay. They don't even hear. They
true,
didn't even. It wasn't even there when you made the declaration. But
true.
the world, the energy, the universe, the cosmos sent these individuals to test your
Hmm.
peace and make
Yeah,
sure that you even tested your policy that you just
yeah.
implemented. As soon as you
I
implemented
feel
it,
you.
here they go trying to get you to complain or bringing you some
Uh-huh.
shit where they, here
Uh-huh.
come the extra complainers. So
Exactly.
how is how have you, what was the adventure like when you first started identifying this as a policy, how you really had to bang on that policy?
I mean, it's hard to make any change, right? It's hard at first, but you just have to realize what it is you're doing. And with that too, and that's why I gave myself the 5 minute or 5 day rule, right? You got to give yourself some time to just get it off your chest, right? You got to give yourself some time to digest it, to sink it in, let it hit you, and then go and do something about it. I learned through a lot of other situations that sometimes acting so fast isn't always the best policy. So even if I don't feel I need that time, I still take that time. So that just talks, into, dealing with stuff, right? But then for me, like I said, it was just a realization of just staying focused on the goal. And whatever it is that I'm trying to change, I always tell myself, it's a lot easier is I would rather complain about making strides than complain about the same situation I'm in because you're gonna always be complaining. You know what I'm saying? So you might as well get something from the pain you're going through. So for me, it just took a lot of discipline. You know what I mean? And really with the external world, honestly, it's a trip, man. I noticed that the moment that I made a mental decision, this is what I'm gonna do, and actually started doing it, man, the doors start flying open for you. You know what I'm saying? It's like the law of attraction and stuff. You know what I'm saying? The moment that you start really visualize that this is what I'm going to do, not just think like it's a cool idea, but you actually picture yourself doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy how things start to open for you, and there's something that you thought was going to be so hard. All of a sudden, you realize, like, I have
Sometimes it gets super
struggles.
easy,
It gets super easy.
especially
Yeah,
this one. Like, don't complain about situations you can change. Sometimes it do be just as simple as like you don't even have to leave the room,
yeah,
a lot of times, but it can be that simple as leaving the room. But it could also just be, all right, I'm gonna turn this way and look at a different part of the room.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now
Exactly,
I'm in a different
exactly,
situation.
exactly.
I'm in the
Different
same space,
perspective.
but I'm in a
Yeah,
different. Yeah, so sometimes it's that simple, especially with something like not complaining
yeah.
about situations that you can change without having to change much about the situation except for how you're in the situation.
Exactly.
You know. Uh, so what's sometimes where you had to, especially since you implemented this, like
Hmm.
catch yourself? Like how long did it take, and how many times did you catch yourself complaining about some
Man.
shit? As soon as I said this shit, man, here I go. Like me, I was like, damn, there I go giving a free promo. I done shouted out thus and such, or you even had to expand on that, or you didn't even know how
Yeah,
encompassing your original policy was. It was like,
yeah.
damn, I meant this for this, but I didn't know it applied over
To
here
this,
too.
yeah, exactly. Nah, man, for me, one thing that I really try to do is, really hold myself accountable. I've learned, man, it's hard to have discipline, like it is with almost anything, right? So I really try and hold myself accountable to it. And there's been a few times I may have broken that policy and complained a little more. Like we're people, right? We're people at the end of the day, right? But for me, I'm the type of person, if I set a goal and I don't meet that goal, I feel defeat within myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like bro, you letting yourself down. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's a lot of things that people don't consider because people will do things that they're expected to do for other people, no problem. Especially if you have a boss. Your boss asks you to do something, it's not a problem for
Well,
you
I
to
ain't got
do
no
it.
boss, man. I never had a
Well,
boss,
yeah,
bro. I
congratulations,
never,
right?
no, no, no. Even if I have a job, I don't have a man. I only have supervisors. I'm my own
Exactly.
boss.
Nah, I
I work
feel
for
you
everywhere I'm at. I work for myself at your company.
a hundred
You know,
percent,
I'm
right?
sorry.
But
That's
you,
my own.
no, I got you. But like I was saying, man, if somebody tells you to do something, you're gonna do it, right? But a lot of times we'll let ourselves down and we want to pull to our own selves either. And it's like, man, you told yourself you're gonna do something, but yet you make up an excuse for that. So for me, I feel guilt. Like I feel extreme guilt. Like, man, I'm failing myself. And man, I told myself I wasn't going to do this. And here I am still doing this. And you know what I mean? And once you build up a repetition, for me, it becomes a lot easier, right? At first, when I started, it was obviously, it's easy to complain. It's easy to sit there and, man, nobody like me. This sucks. Whatever the case may be, right? But as I started aggressively trying to not be that person, I started, making strides to go forward, and it made it a lot easier to just deal with it, to just take it on the chin, as they say, and keep on moving. You know what I mean?
Okay. And then what are there any exceptions to that rule where you allow yourself? I guess maybe you might have put that in the 5 minute, 5 day.
Yeah,
But you like I can
yeah,
complain for 5 minutes, but you put
cause
the
we
time
human,
limit on it.
man. You know what I'm saying? We're human, bro. You know what I mean? Like I had a corporate job at one time, and I'm not gonna get into all of that, but basically, man, I realized that a lot of people set goals for themselves that aren't realistic. You know what I mean? You need to have a realistic goal for yourself. You need to realize that at the end of the day,
What you need to
if you,
do, see, what
yeah,
you need to do, what you
what you
got to do
should
is you
be
got to have
doing,
some.
right?
See,
Yeah, nah, man. I just feel like to set up a goal that's not really realistic, right? And I, like I said before, know who you are within that present moment, right? Know that if you're an avid complainer, you know what I mean, and all you do is complain, you ain't never did nothing. For you to just say by
yeah,
tomorrow I'm gonna knock it
I ain't gonna
off and
stop
I'm not
complaining.
gonna do it, yeah,
You know,
that's not
give yourself the
realistic. You know what
grace.
I'm
You
saying?
knowing yourself, you knowing how to
It,
navigate yourself, navigating as a vessel in
exactly.
terrain. You say, okay, I'm gonna give myself about 5 minutes of complaining.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the complaints you might open up the pathway. You might have to listen to your internal complaining
Exactly.
ass dialogue to be like,
Exactly.
yeah, these motherfuckers, they keep doing this and they always doing this, and every time I do this, they do that. Well, hold on, let me see.
Yeah.
Since I said that out
Yeah.
loud, yeah, every time I do that, they do that. So
Mm-hmm.
either I'm gonna do that to and flip it and prepare for that
Yeah.
response, or I'm gonna not do that, and then I can't do that, or I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes, like, okay, you leave the space for yourself to complain for a time period, a limited
Exactly.
time frame, and then that should create the catalyst. They say innovation, is or invention is actually the child of complaints and necessities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we complain about some shit, and then that's how inventors they say, oh yeah,
Exactly.
this is a problem.
Yeah.
Well, now I have solutions. Okay,
Exactly.
okay.
Exactly.
And you had another
Exactly.
policy. This was very interesting, and I wanna walk through the journey of this one.
All
Is
right.
you don't mix circles.
Yeah.
Is that's
I
the
don't
other one. You
yeah.
keep your
Yeah.
work friends, and don't be having the
Yeah.
work friends kicking it with your
Yeah.
your fantasy football people over here. You don't have the neighborhood homies
Yeah,
with
man.
the
Yeah.
school
Not
partners.
necessarily. Not necessarily. Just, sometimes, man, you gotta realize I have a big problem, man. I learned this, man, through watching people be messy. I'm gonna be so for real. You know what I'm saying? Watching people be messy and overlapping circles, right? What's the saying is, it's where you eat. You know what I'm saying? So just that's part of it. But a lot of it, man, like I'm very big on I'm particular with who I associate with, right? So if we work together at a company or we're put together and we so click, that may be cool, but I'm not gonna act like we really are friends. I see you every day, right? We get
Right.
along. We may have similar interests, but I see you every day. We only here together because we need to get a paycheck or whatever the case may be. We're collaborating on something, whatever it is. But that doesn't necessarily mean we're friends. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want you to confuse what we got going on because a lot of times I've learned, man, sometimes people overstep boundaries, right? Work friends start to get a little too comfortable sometimes and start talking about stuff like, yo,
Right.
wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? And I've just found, man, it's a lot easier to control the stuff that goes on around you if you control the people around you. You know what I'm saying? And even French Montana said it, right? The people you get money with ain't got to be the people you eat with. The people that you eat with ain't got to be the people you beef with, right? Like everybody should have a purpose for you. That's not to say to use everybody, but everybody should have some reason why they are in your life. Just don't forget that reason. You
So
know what I'm
what
saying?
was I'm interested in learning how you came to identify this as a rule, you know what I mean, or as a policy. Like, was there a situation or a circumstance? Man, I had a party, man. I brought these niggas from work over here to the neighborhood, man. These motherfuckers did won't and won't, or I was kind of tell us the aha. Give us the
You know,
aha moment where you was like, I ain't doing that no more.
honestly, man, the real aha moment for me, I was in the military and they really preach big on fraternization,
Mm.
right? So if you're, this, you don't want to give the wrong impression of something. So if you're a high ranking officer, for example, you don't want to be kicking it with people beneath you because then that might make people jealous. People start thinking things and you know what I'm saying? So you don't really want to fraternize like that because it could lead to wrong impression, right? And then also, like I told you, I had a a very white collar corporate job at one point. Uh, your image is really, really important, or my image was really, really important. So who I associated myself with, because I didn't want people to see me in the wrong circles in the wrong light and be like, yo, I saw you doing some ratchet stuff out here. And now as a result, it's messing up my paycheck. You know what I'm saying? So there wasn't really a specific aha moment. It was just the realization as time progressed and I matured and seeing other people screw ups that I just
Ah,
started learning
ah.
how to navigate a little better. You know what I'm
Sometimes other
saying?
people be moving crazy, where sometimes you see,
Yeah,
sometimes we make a policy just by observing.
yeah,
Sometimes it
yeah,
didn't have to do nothing to us, but it was, it could relate to us. But you see somebody else fucking bite the dust
yeah,
on something, you like,
yeah.
that could have been me.
Mm,
I can't
exactly.
judge too hard, but let me go ahead and implement. Let
Yeah,
me go ahead and
move a
implement
little
this
different.
policy in my life so that I don't experience them same results. At least not on a part of that, on a, due to that. Okay, so
Exactly.
since you
Right.
identified that policy, since you said, all right, hey man, I ain't mixing these work circles.
Hmm.
Uh, how how has the external world presented opportunities for you to fuck that off, to mess that policy up, or how did that challenge? And then, you know, not only that, how does the external world? Well, let me just start with that. How, as soon as you identified it, the people invited some people from work where you
Oh
didn't even
man,
invite them, but you just ran
look,
into
it ain't
them.
even that, man. I've had to block people before, right? Like people that I'm on social media, that I work with. I block them on social media just because I feel like my life is my life, man. I don't want you to judge what I'm doing personally with my professional image that I'm presenting to you, right? Because we're all people, right? I don't want that to come into effect, to come into play. So man, I've had to block people. I've had to have polite conversations with people like, hey, listen, but like we're not at that level. You know what I'm saying? We're not at that level. You cool though. You cool. You cool.
Hey,
It's
that
not
happens
just
a
me.
lot in comedy, man. You be associating with comedy people, and they think that because we're comedians, that all jokes with everybody is on the table. And
Yeah.
sometimes I had to check a few people where it's like, hey,
Yeah.
you out of pocket in my book right now. And then they're like, well,
Yeah. Yeah.
we comedians, I'm just joking, or I'm joking, and you should be able to
Yeah.
take a joke. And it's like, man, I don't joke with
That
people like
ain't
you joking right now, and that ain't
exactly.
how we not on that level. And I don't think even if we was on that level, you would have more sight to not take
Exactly.
that so lightly, to just be joking your
So
ass off with certain
joking
things.
about it,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's like,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah.
comedian on stage. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's a 2 item minimum.
Exactly.
Look, they done bought tickets. They done bought tickets. It's a 2 item
Yeah.
minimum. We done did the whole. They did the walk. They did your. You did your
Mhm.
you did your items. They turned your phone in at the door. They gave you
Yo,
the
you
rules. They
good?
gave you the
Good.
house
Yeah.
rules. And then now we joking. But as far as off
Yeah.
stage, you just coming out of pocket
Coming
in
up.
casual conversation,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
it's only when you check them do they say I was just joking. You know,
I was
it
of
was
course,
only
of course,
I
of
was
course,
just
of
joking.
course.
And then they
I'm
flip
gonna
it
laugh
on
it
you. They
off.
like, you
Yeah.
don't know how to take a joke, and it's like,
Take a
man,
joke.
we not on that level.
Come on, bro. We're
You
not. That ain't
you
it.
and
That ain't
then, yeah, the
us.
people that I'm on that level with, we got on that level by not taking that shit lightly, and they wouldn't just be all out
Exactly.
in all kind of spaces
Exactly.
playing with you like that. Like,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
exactly. So
how
yeah,
many?
you get it.
Yeah, no, I've experienced that in comedy with, with the mixtures of
Dude.
circles and like rhetorics and
Yeah.
supposed to be like uh levels of comfortability. People got that, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
yeah,
And for me
yeah,
too, kind of like you said, for me, I try to make a stark distinction because I don't want people traveling outside the box that
yeah,
they are put in, right? So if we working together, we work together. And I'm gonna make sure
right.
you understand we work together. Don't start joking, kikiing, telling me some crazy stuff about your weekend or things you do on vacation, thinking I'm gonna reciprocate. Because I'll straight up tell you, like, man, I really don't talk about myself outside of work, dog, and we leave it at that. You know what I mean?
So this how
So
I
I'll
be
make
doing.
that stark distinction.
I be putting my policies across the board where it's I be with family. I
Yeah.
be with family. They be like, well, what if this? I be like, family,
Family.
mother,
Yeah,
mother,
I do.
father,
Hey,
I
I
don't
do.
entertain
I do.
hypotheticals.
I
But I'm your
do.
mother.
I do.
I'm your father. You gotta entertain the hypothetical. Well, do I? You know what I'm
Do I?
saying? You
Exactly.
cultivated a decider who has decided.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
now you
100%.
got the ultimate test. And sometimes with the closest people, you got to set them really hard precedents to where it's like, if I can get through this policy with my mother or my father or my auntie, my brother, my
Yeah.
uncle, then the rest of the world is cake because I already did this with
Easy.
the people that
Yeah,
cultivated me. I done already look.
yeah,
I done blocked my auntie for doing this.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I could deal with your ass. You easy, block,
Yeah,
block,
exactly.
block.
You ain't nothing.
Yo,
Yeah.
come on, man.
Who are
I
you?
still call her. She
Yeah.
just can't access this. He said he
I
can't
feel
he
you.
can't see these posts, but he can call me anytime. And then for sure,
Exactly.
we and so yeah, damn, yeah. So how has the not mixing circles policy that you implemented? How have you had to catch yourself slacking in that department when
I
you like
mean,
shit?
sometimes, man, I've defaulted, right? And I will admit, sometimes I've made exceptions, but for me, it really becomes a matter of then, all right, so I have a friend that I made through a professional circle, right? And we're boys, we homies, we cool. You know what I mean? But I think they've come to realize that, okay, when it's go time, it's go time. Even though we have fun, kicking it, kikiing, whatever, this ain't that time. It's time to make some money, and that's what we're doing, right? And if we want to joke and stuff offline, that's something different. But we're not bringing outside stuff inside, and vice versa, right? So if I do, and it's not often that I do, right, I make sure that people can basically differentiate. You know what I'm saying? People want to bring office stuff to the personal and personal stuff to the office, so to speak, if people are working in the office. And that's just not me, man. I really don't like to do that, like I said. So I make sure people know, like, all right, if we've crossed this boundary, so to speak, this is our fun time where we boys and drinking and shooting the shit. And this is not fun time. It's time to get to
So you
work,
don't really
man. So that's
catch
how I
yourself,
basically.
or since you implemented that, you
I
haven't really caught
mean,
yourself. That's been a
I'm not
little
gonna say
easier to maintain.
I haven't called myself. You really gotta be somebody special for me to put you in my like inner ring of like I actually be like, nah, we boys. You
Or
know what I'm
even just,
saying?
well,
Like,
I'm just talking about the mixing. So I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Not even
yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
even
That's
personal and
what I mean.
professional, but you was talking about circles because that could mean like a lot of different things. And then you could do hypothetically, there could be some hobby activity,
Got you,
that you take.
got
It's
you,
like,
got you.
okay, I don't
I
go with
mean,
my knitting homies or my yoga,
yeah.
we run the 4K on
Nah,
Saturdays, but
it
I don't
just
bring them over here
it's
with these work homies. until you
Nah, I feel you,
do, and
bro.
you like,
Nah,
ah,
I get
shit, I
what
done
you
fucked
mean. I
around
get
and
what you mean.
I done invited
Nah,
my card playing homies with my drinking
it just needs to
partners.
make sense, bro. It just needs to make sense, right? I'm not gonna invite somebody to something in general that I know they wouldn't be interested in. And I'm the type of person that I like to put people on opportunities, right? So no matter how I know you, if I know that I'm going to something or doing something that is not what we normally do, but you might find a benefit in that, and I already plan to go, I might let you know about it. I'm not that type of person that, gatekeeping as they call it. I'm not going to gatekeep something like that to prevent somebody from their enjoyment, right? So it just, like I said, it just has to make sense. And then, like I was saying before, they realize like, okay, we are not in whatever circle I know you from or we normally operate in. I brought you into this opportunity because, you know, I know you would like this and appreciate it for what it is. Don't misconstrue it for this is now your green light to we kicking it every weekend and stuff like that, man. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, it just has to make sense. You know what I mean? There has to be a particular reason as to why I kind of go against that rule and bring a person from circle A to circle B.
So well, yeah, what are some of those reasons? What's some of the exceptions that you've identified? It's like, okay, I can bring my drinkers over here with my smokers, or I can, you know what I'm saying? I can bring my gamblers. I can bring
Yeah.
my gamblers around, you know, for the
I
Vegas
mean,
trip with
shoot,
these cats.
like one exception was, I know somebody from a professional circle. I'm in the photography and videography, and there was a model opportunity for them. You know what I'm saying? I know that they model on the side. So I was like, hey, I'm about to go to this event where basically a whole lot of photographers are going to be taking pictures of some models. You might want to see if you can go if that's something you're interested in to where you can then get exposure as a model. You know what I'm saying? So just but I know them on something photography and videography, that little realm. You know what I'm saying? So it was a more, I guess, professional circle that I knew them from. And it was kind of like, okay, I'm going to show you something that I don't normally show people in this circle. So this is particular because, like I said, I'm not a gatekeeper, right? I got invited. It's a free event. It don't cost you nothing to go. You want to show up and put yourself out there, by all means, there's an opportunity to do so. You know what I'm saying? So that's just like one example in particular, man. But like I said, it just has to make sense, right? And the vibe has to be good, as kids like to say nowadays, right? You can't be somebody that's a pit bull all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I'm taking you around some fairies, and I gotta be like, yo, man, like shit, like he cool. I promise you, he cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I ain't trying to have to control another person, man. So I gotta be able to just feel comfortable that bringing you into this other circle, there's not gonna be a clash. Because I'm very big on my reputation. You know what I'm saying? And people start judging you for the people that you bring around and who you're around, man. So you got to watch that stuff sometimes. You know what I mean? Sometimes you don't realize you done brought two people around and everybody looking at them crazy. Now they start asking questions like, yo, is this person crazy too? You know what I'm saying? So like I said, it needs to make sense. And energy has to be right. You know what I
And
mean?
yeah, sometimes people are people are literally made up of different chemicals and elements. And
Yeah.
so once you start mixing people, it'd be like sometimes it's like, sometimes they mix well like salt and pepper, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's like what's some things? It'd be like Mentos and
Yeah.
Pepsi,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
And
done
Coke,
brought,
yeah.
we over here in
Yeah.
Pepsiville, you done brought the Mentos over here and it's an explosion. It's a mess. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, navigating some of that. Sometimes you don't know until now. Have you ever brought people around some different places specifically as an alchemist to just see what would happen?
Oh no, I ain't tried that, man. That's dangerous sometimes, man. Look,
You ain't never
look.
introduced some elements or some people to some elements or some elements to
Hey,
some people to be
I've
like,
had a lot of,
ah,
I had a lot of hindsight, like, dang, I shouldn't have did that. I've seen that working out a lot better in my mind. You know what I'm saying? But never like, let's see what happens. I'm
let's
not out
see
here
what.
just experimenting, just dropping people in the pot, and letting them mix, man, because I ain't trying to have that Pepsi and Mentos reaction go off when I'm around. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, nah, I ain't tried that, man. But a lot of burnt opportunities, a lot of like, dang, I really seen this playing out better. You know what I mean? And that's just learning experience. You can never fully know somebody. You can never really judge people. All you can do is put your best thought forward.
Okay. And so, Will, you said you not complaining about situations that you can change for more than 5 minutes, and you not mixing your social circles. You're not bringing people that you know over here around people
Yeah.
that you know over there. Is you're not mixing it. You're not doing human chemistry experiments,
Nah.
and unless you the human changing your environment in the
Yeah.
world. What other
Basically.
policies have you identified? I think you started with one. I think you started
Yeah.
with one that you didn't put in the
I,
chat. What was that first
I
one
did
that
it
you?
put in the chat. It was basically know who you are at the current time. You know what I'm saying? Knowing who you are at the present time.
Is know and learn thyself, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think self knowledge, self awareness, self discovery, self mastery is some of the the most important types of knowledge and wisdom that you
Yeah.
could really experience in this reality.
Well, that
Because
that goes into making a policy, right? You got to
oh yeah,
know where you stand, know
yeah,
yourself to then set that policy in line too, right?
absolutely, absolutely. Is there any other policies that you've implemented that you would remember that you had wanted to
Oh,
share?
oh
Because you was like
man,
I had a whole
no,
bunch of them, but I think
I
the two
do,
was fire.
man. Yeah, yeah, bro. I mean, I don't know, man. There's a lot of things, As you know, you go through life and you start learning, like, man, I'm not gonna do that no more, or hey, maybe I'm gonna start doing this a little often, man. So, I got a lot of necessarily, I wouldn't call them necessarily policies, but little guides that I follow. But I mean, those three, man, are like really the main three that I really stick and hold to. I really don't change those for too much, or it has to be, like I said before, a really good reason for me to cross that path.
Okay. So you got it, man. Know and learn thyself. Don't be mixing your social circles or your social and professional and other circles. And don't be stop all that complaining. Just stop all that complaining about shit you probably can change. You know.
Exactly.
So I appreciate you coming through and sharing your policies with me, brother.
Appreciate you for having me.
Absolutely,
Thank you, man. I
man.
appreciate you for having me.
What's some projects that you got coming up in the future that you excited to reveal or share or that have already, you know what I mean? How can folks find you? How can folks tap in with some of your
Man,
work?
tap into my Instagram. Right now, I'm working on a documentary about a sports agency. That's really pretty much all I can give you from there.
Okay.
Whole lot
And
of
it's
crazy stuff. It's
Instagram.
not ballers. It's not ballers. So this is real life.
Instagram at it's Willcast. ITSWILLCAS. You got the
Appreciate you, my brother.
he got the he got the project, that non-disclosure. All right, he got the non-disclosure project on the horizon. How long you been out in LA from the Bay?
Man, just almost a year,
Almost
man.
a year.
Basically, almost a year, man. From Oakland, California, by way of East Palo Alto,
Okay.
EPA.
Have you
Yeah,
noticed in your year here? Because I kind of started to some shit. The Bay is a very it's its own culture. It's got its
yeah,
own culture, and
yeah,
so
yeah,
a lot of times you'll be somewhere, and then you in the Bay you might do what the Bay do,
yeah, yeah.
and
Uh,
then
you
out
come out
out
here
here
and
or
they like, oh,
in other
yeah.
places you can't separate yourself from, you got to separate what's yours from what's the Bay,
hmm
and sometimes
Yeah,
what you resonate with and what you took from is actually truly yours. But has there
very
ever been any of those
true.
moments where people, the moments where you was like, uh where you wasn't even trying to do Bay shit, but somebody else was like, oh, he from the Bay.
Yeah, 100%. Bro, it's crazy, man. So I actually, it's funny, man. So one time I was at an In-N-Out Burger by the airport. It was late at night, and there was like some concert. I think it was Harry Styles or something, right? So I say this because it's relevant. So it was a Harry Styles concert. So there was a bunch of Harry Styles fans. You can guess the demographic of who they are,
I about to say you're
right?
already doing free promo and now you're doing
You know what I
marketing. Wow,
mean?
no.
Nah. There
I'm
was
playing.
a concert though, right? So, I went up and ordered some food, sat down, and brothers, man, if there was one brother in the whole land. We gonna say what's up. We might do it a nod or something, but we gonna say what's up. You know what I'm saying? So sat down, said what's up. Brother started talking to me. It was like, bro, I kid you not, probably like 2 minutes into the conversation, he just asked me straight up, like, "Are you from Oakland?" And I was like, "That's specific, bro. Like, how do you know I was from Oakland?" He was like, "Man, I used to date this girl from Oakland, man. The way you talk, bro, I could just tell." I was like, "Man, that's crazy." You know what I'm saying? So like, even when I first moved out here, man, people would be like, "You're not from out here, are you?" I was like, "Nah." You know what I mean? So I guess, we got that Oakland slang, that Oakland twang, as I call it. I guess it kind of sticks out, bro. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. As far as like maneuvering, I feel like it's all Cali. Everything is different. You know what I mean? It is different from NorCal to SoCal, but nothing too crazy, I would say, other than
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a common thread in the whole state that's very different than when as soon as you leave. Is you got to be around the whole state to see the
Yeah.
differences and the similarities
Yeah. Yeah.
that you. Yeah,
Yeah. Nah.
yeah. I think one of them things is that in California, no matter where you are in California, you know, you gotta shit can get ratchet in like a weird kind of way. That's only kind of no matter
Easy.
where you at. You like you away
Yeah.
in whatever county. You can be in Long Beach. You could be in
Yeah.
Humboldt. You like, but this gas station is like ah.
Yeah. Ooh, whoa. Wait a
What's
minute.
going on at this gas station? They
Yeah,
were like,
man.
where's the other gas
Yeah,
station? Because
man.
this, yeah,
Yeah.
it could get
Facts.
you gotta be
Facts.
mindful of the pothead to meth head ratio of this.
Now, true, bro. Because the homeless people is the same from north to south, bro. They act just as weird, man.
Yeah,
They are
yeah.
just as weird, bro. So they crack me up though, man. But yeah, man, this state is a beautiful state, but there are a lot of differences in the people from NorCal to SoCal. I'm still fairly fresh out here, so I'm still trying to learn, how the streets move, as they say.
Okay.
But man, it's a trip. It's cool. I love it though. I like it.
Well, I appreciate you, man, for coming on live, man. I look forward to connecting
Thank
in the
you.
future. Oh yeah, somebody in the chat was Brittany Marie 916 is saying hellas and shouting out Cali. I saw some funny ass shit. I saw it was one of them. I'm not gonna say the name of the channel because I'm not doing free promo right now.
Yeah.
But they were showing
Yeah.
shy show clips. They show all the Bay Area. They be showing hella Bay Area. There's a few
Okay. I
accounts
got
that
you.
do this,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
they be
yeah.
showing all the ratchet Bay Area shit. And they had a side show, and then they had turkeys running around at the side show. And I commented, I said, "Tell me you in Sacramento without telling me
Facts.
you in Sacramento." How y'all found some wild turkeys at this sideshow?
Yo,
That's
that is some Sacramento-ish all the way,
right.
man.
But man, thank you again for joining,
Thank you,
man.
thank you.
You tap in, uh,
Definitely.
and thank you all for joining.
Yep.
I'm not gonna kick you out though. You
I,
gotta exit yourself
I
because
gotta
I
exit,
can't.
bro.
You
I
gotta
appreciate
exit.
you,
You gotta.
dog. Thank you, man. It's been a pleasure. Hey, go see this man's show. He funny as hell.
It's Will Cass, y'all. He wait on. Okay, did it happen? Did it? Okay. It's Will Cass. I appreciate it for joining me. I appreciate y'all for joining me. This is a policy talk. Y'all, folks, finna zip. Folks, I appreciate everybody that came in, dropped a comment. If you have a policy, throw your policy not in the chat here. Throw it on the comments to the video. If you want to join me in the future and talk about some of your policies, I would love to have you on and you know what I'm saying, hear what kind of rules that you've implemented in your life and sort of the implementation. Don't be in here in this chat room talking about the numbers, okay? Because that's one of my policy. I don't talk numbers, all right? And sometimes Instagram hides the numbers. It'd be more people in the actual thing than the numbers will tell you. And then sometimes people log on for it. So I don't talk numbers. I don't do free promo, and I don't entertain hypothetical scenarios. All right. And so it's more people in the chat than it looks like, but definitely pull up to the comments with your policy. All right. Definitely send me a message if you want to talk about your policies. But this has been Policy Talk number 4. I appreciate y'all for joining me. If you join me live, or if you join me if you join me live or join me in post, I really appreciate that. Until next time, we're not doing no free promo. We're not talking numbers, and we're not entertaining hypotheticals. Only actuals, man. It's Anyi Malik signing off. Peace.